Welcome back, my fellow Eternians. As always, it's me, Emperor AP, and today I am going to be talking about kind of an interesting topic, something that I have wanted to cover on the channel for a while, but I haven't felt like an expert on until now. And by no means am I an expert, of course, but I do feel like I have a few things to say now. I've learned a little bit about micronationalism over the years, working with Eternia, developing it, and doing so with no money. I'm not sure how much you all have followed Eternia's progress in its development, but throughout our entire history, we have been incredibly strapped for cash. To give a little bit of a background on myself and who I am, I'm Emperor AP. I am the Emperor of the Empire of Aeternia, a micronation located in Alabama. For the last 5 years, I have been running Aeternia and developing it, trying to grow it from a concept in my head out to a full-fledged nation that has a wonderful community that supports it online. We just purchased our first territory, which was huge, again starting from no money, myself being a college student, someone who was not able to work a full-time job, going to school full-time, having debts associated with my schooling, and now trying to move from that into developing and growing a nation. So, hey, Tiff's joining us. Thank you very much, Tiff. I appreciate that. Tiff brought me a cool snack and some pork skins. But we were talking about this concept of how to start a nation with absolutely no money. This is something that I have again had to do for the last 5 years, and it's been a struggle. One of the biggest things that I tell micronations to start on when they're trying to develop, trying to learn more about micronationalism, is to really figure out themselves, what they want, why they are sold on the idea of developing a micronation, because ultimately you're your first citizen. So you're going to need to come up with ideas, need to develop a plan, and need to start moving forward with formulating everything that you need for that. We have plenty of videos on that to tell you, and there are other people who have videos on it too, to tell you, hey, you should be creating a flag, a name, a currency, a website, all these different things. But they don't necessarily tell you how to go about doing that in more detail. We tend to cover that a good bit on the channel, but in general, it's very hard because we'll see a ton of nations, especially nations who are more popular, who are just throwing money at things. The micronationalists with the cool outfits will be wearing something that they probably purchased, or even if they made it handmade, spent a lot of money on expensive materials for. If they are doing something with currency, they may have gotten a printer to print them and design them a currency. If they're talking about, a website, it may be a website that they paid somebody to develop or are actively paying hosting fees to run. And all of that can become incredibly, incredibly expensive and difficult to maintain, especially on a fixed income or even no income at all. A lot of the people that start micronations tend to be younger. These are people who may be in school still, maybe maybe don't have jobs, and that really can tangle up somebody's goals and ambitions and feeling like, well, dang, I have this time on my hands. I want to commit everything I can to developing this, but I don't have any money. I don't have any way to do that. So I want to dispel the myth that you need some money to develop a micronation and to talk about further how you can start things for free. Most of the things that we've done in Aeternia and the way that we've developed has been putting our own time and effort in. Of course, that's required equipment eventually, as things have gotten larger, that's required people with other skill sets, but we've gotten just about everything we needed for free, save for the land that we just purchased and some of the things that we've used to actually make money. But that being the case, those things were small investments, things that we chose to do, but weren't necessary for us to develop. And again, in many ways, we have found avenues to get something for free instead of doing something through a paid route. But I will say, if you guys like the video, definitely please like it. It means a lot. As well, let me go ahead and see if anybody has jumped into the comments with us yet. If you're here and you want to ask any questions or discuss something, please let me know, because I am excited to be here with you all, talking to you. One of the biggest difficulties that I see with micronations is that concept of, well, okay, I've gotten my name, I've gotten my flag, I've gotten my website, I've got maybe even a few citizens. Maybe, I have some social media that I'm reaching out on, and I'm doing this and that. I'm brushing up on the limits of everything I think I can do for free. Now I need to start spending money. I don't have any money. There's no way for me to grow. Well, I would say one of the biggest things to focus on, like I said, is if you're really focusing on your individual development as a micronation, you have to know your plan. You have to have specific goals and ambitions that you're trying to reach. And a lot of the time when you go to reach those, you'll realize that you need some kind of equipment, you need some kind of help, skilled help that you may not have access to. You may even need things to overcome government regulations where you are, things like licenses, things like certifications, which will eventually cost money. But there are a lot of ways to get help from people who are experienced with things and who do things pretty much for free. A lot of the time, especially if somebody's younger, they can go out and just ask people and talk to people about what they're doing and what they're interested in. And that can be a scary topic. We've already talked about that on the channel a little bit. And I just reiterate that again. There are plenty of people who are nervous to talk about their micronations. And for a lot of people, that makes 100% sense. It's something that's a little bit nuanced. It's something that is a fairly small community and that a lot of people don't know about. So discussing micronationalism and trying to develop your micronation can be something that is really, really tough. That being the case, instead of going that route, and as much as I can, if you can find ways to meet people just in your life who you learn have particular skills or particular interests, or if you can go through micronational means, for example, if you're already doing things with your micronation online, if you're creating a Discord community, if you're creating a YouTube channel or Twitter or what have you, Instagram, and you start learning about different nations, different people already in the community who have certain skills, trying to reach out to those people and appeal to those people because they are already in an interest group that you're a part of, being micronationalists, they're probably going to be willing to help you, or at least to give you some advice on how they move forward with what they do. People ask us all the time kind of what we do. I try and explain as much as I can, and of course I try and make these videos to help out, but that's not always enough. So that's why I'm trying to make this like broad scoping video in trying to explain how to do things in general for free. I'll give some examples. One of the biggest things that we've been embarking on most recently is a solar project. We want to bring solar power to our new territory. And that's something that's rough. That's something that, if you were to go online and look up how much it would cost to purchase all the equipment for it, even for just something that would store, temporary emergency power, not even something that would run your all of your electrical needs, could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that being the case, for us having very, very little money, especially having spent all of our money trying to purchase a piece of land, that's 100% not feasible. But what we can do to be able to move forward and still develop is to look for ways that people are either throwing things out that are useful to that project, whatever the project is, specifically for us solar, and try to fix those things for little cost or even no cost. One of the biggest examples of that are the solar panels that we're using ourselves. Some of them were given once people learned that we were trying to develop a solar system. Plenty of people have like little tiny solar panels and stuff that they've had for years that they don't, do anything with. Something that's not enough power to really run a whole lot of stuff, but it's just something that, they're trying to get rid of, or they're trying to, just use for some little niche purpose. A lot of the time, little tiny solar kits will come with like a small solar panel and a battery and a little flashlight or something that it connects to, just or a little LED light, just as kind of a neat thing for showing off the fact that you can use solar. But solar panels are really great because they can string together. What we've been able to do is look at different ways that we see these solar systems, whether it's in big cases like having a fairly decent sized solar panel used to charge a battery already, whether it's small scale, like for example the little solar lights that are in people's yards. When those batteries die, when those things go out, most of the time people don't know how to replace those batteries, or people just don't care to. And so they're like, oh, well, these things are damaged, I'll just leave them in the yard like they are, or I'll throw them out or whatever. And so we did that with Tiffany's parents, and we were actually able to collect up a whole bunch of their unused solar cells and solar panels from these little devices and string them together into larger, more powerful solar grids. And so in doing that, we took something 100% for free that was just lying around, that wasn't able to be used by the people who had it initially, and we were able to convert that into something that's going to be able to be used on a large scale for us. The same thing with some batteries. So you need batteries, of course, to be able to charge these solar panels, and so those batteries can become really expensive. Batteries are insanely expensive, especially on the size and scale you need to be able to start to run large-scale solar power. And so, for example, lithium-ion batteries are a great thing and kind of the modern go-to battery for developing solar systems and solar power systems. And so people, if you look online, you can buy lithium ion cells, but they become quite pricey quite quick. And so instead of doing that, the cheapest you may be able to buy some are $1 or $2 per cell. And those are, very, very, very tiny cells. They're 3.7 volt cells. And so in order to get a large amount of power, you need a ton of these cells. So instead of doing that, we actually went with a version that is free, that a lot of people throw out all the time, and that just so happened again that some of Tiffany's family had that were completely unusable to them, which are car batteries. Car batteries, once they drop below basically 11 volts, are considered unusable. They're dead. You replace them. That's it. However, for our purposes, we did have to spend a small amount of money to do this, but it allowed some very large returns. And in some cases, we didn't have to spend any money whatsoever. We collected a whole bunch of these car batteries. Some of them were car batteries, some of them were lawnmower batteries. And so we collected all of these batteries and we checked them. We checked them with an automatic charger, and the automatic charger said, I can't charge this, it's dead 100%, you need to get a new battery. But that's just because it was below the 11 volt, whatever, automatic charging voltage that it would start to recharge the battery at. So what we did was we took a lot of them outside and hooked them up to our solar cell, which could get 17 volts during the day at peak hours. And so we just let them sit outside hooked up to these batteries all day, and most of the batteries were actually able to charge back up enough to be able to get back on that automatic charging system without us having to purchase anything or add anything additionally. And so we got like 3 or 4 batteries like that to add to our system. And these are big car batteries. These are things that, when strung together, can run for potentially a few hours, running some lights, running maybe a fan or two. And so this is something that's small scale emergency power, but would be crucial and a wonderful thing for us to have out there in our territory, which we currently have no infrastructure on. We currently have no electricity going to from the grid. We currently have no water lines from the city. We have to dig a well and have that installed, which is incredibly expensive. And we have to have a septic system in order to get rid of waste, which will again be incredibly expensive to install. So right now, that's one of these huge expenses that's cut down just a little bit by the fact that we can have something to start to work with. That's something that we were able to get 100% for free that can start to allow us some steps into this process. And the whole reason I went through all of that is just to say that a lot of you are probably in a similar position where you're saying, I have this big problem, I have this big goal that is my next thing to reach. If only I could reach that next big goal, but I can't take any steps forward because it requires money. It's something that I have to have a specific item to get. It's something that I have to have specific resources to do. It's something that I have to have specific people to do. A lot of the time, you may not be able to go from nothing to your goal instantly, but you can always take a little step. There is some way, more than likely, for most goals, that you can get something started for free. It may not be everything you want. It may not be something that will help a ton with your goal, but it's something to show that you've moved a step, something that may convince someone else to come on board and help out. may get you just far enough to start getting some financing together, to get somebody to invest in it. Maybe it's just enough to get you to be able to advertise what you're doing more and get more support online and to continue to grow your nation that way. It's tough. It's tough to do all of these things, but there are ways to move forward for free. The rest of those batteries, what we actually did is we spent a little bit of money. I think it was maybe $10 or $11 for us to purchase some sulfuric acid to be able to add to these batteries, which I don't recommend you do because it's dangerous unless you know what you're doing 100%. If you've dealt with, more advanced chemistry, if you have done some things like that, because the acid itself is dangerous, as well as adding it to the batteries can be dangerous as you charge them, because they off gas and spew out hydrogen, which is flammable and can explode the batteries. So if you're not very, very careful and know what you're doing this, you shouldn't, specifically for those batteries. But that is an example, that is an anecdote, just to explain that there are ways for projects big and small to get something started initially. As well, we have 4 viewers and 2 likes. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And if you can, please like the video. It would help me a lot, and it would help to spread the stream out. So that way, before we get to the end, we can maybe have some more people coming in, asking questions about their micronations, and ultimately trying to grow this community and teach more people not only about what micronations are, but about how they can get started with them. Because a lot of people fall off in the community once they get to a certain step and feel like, well, I've done everything I'm turning my wheels at this point, and I'm not getting any forward progress. So real quick, I'm going to check just to see if we have any comments. I don't believe we do, but we're going to keep pushing on. So that's one of the big examples most recently of what we've been able to accomplish with this solar system. Again, getting actual output, being able to run things, being able to start to look at installing this out on our territory with no money down, except for, again, this little bit of sulfuric acid, which we decided to do to get another 2 or 3 batteries going with it. Actually, we just got one battery that we put all of the sulfuric acid in, but it went, $10 for over $100 battery that we've repaired basically to brand new condition now. That battery is working leaps and bounds beyond what our other batteries are that we charged up for free, but even still those other batteries are working quite well. All of that being said, for your micronations to be able to do things for free, that's a great example. Moving forward with some other concepts, a lot of what we have done to start to make money, to be able to move forward and to be able to do things, started out for free. I'll give you a great example. In trying to start to develop our nation and what we're interested in, one of the things that we started to do was to advertise ourselves online. So in setting up our YouTube channel, and setting up our Twitter, and setting up our Discord, we were able to find a community of people that really supported us and that we could learn from. So being able to, when we first started out, starting, for example, our MicroWiki, I don't know how to edit a MicroWiki. There are a lot of people who are constantly asking online, hey, how do you make your MicroWiki? Hey, I see that this group and this group have a MicroWiki. And these are things which, as you may join the community, as you may learn more, as you develop a nation, or become a part of another nation, you may learn is something that other nations do and develop. It's a great way to advertise, and it's 100% free. It allows you to tell the story of your nation without doing much of anything at all. So that being the case, the one issue is you have to have some skill to be able to develop those Wikipedia articles. You have to be able to edit those Wikipedia articles and have that skill under your belt. Now you can Google this and you can look it up, and it's really not that difficult. But for me starting out, when I wanted to get one, I had no idea what to do. I didn't have any skill in it. I didn't have any ability to do it. However, I was online just kind of talking to people and advertising what I was doing. I think really just had an Instagram at that point. We didn't even have, we don't have a Facebook currently. We didn't have a Facebook. We had Instagram. We may have had a Twitter, but I don't even really think we were on Twitter that much at that point. And we definitely didn't have our YouTube channel started up. Well, I take that back. We probably had our YouTube channel set up, but had never posted any videos. So it was just there. We didn't have any subscribers. It wasn't something we were actively trying to build on. So that being the case, we had this one point of contact to the community. It was very, very minimal. And I was just talking to people on Instagram. And eventually somebody hit me up and said, hey, do you want me to make you a micro wiki? Because I was talking to people about micro wikis and they had explained to me how they made theirs. And I was really curious and I started asking just tons and tons and tons of questions, trying to figure it out on my own and struggling. And so eventually somebody just said, hey, you know what, I make micro wiki pages, I made mine. Do you want me to make yours real quick? I can just kind of, if you tell me the basic information, I can just plug it in and upload it and you'll be good. And so that's what I did. I ended up just talking to people and talking to people in the community and eventually ran into somebody who was more than happy to do it for free. And I'm not the only person that that's happened to. There are plenty of people out there who have had their micro wiki pages built by other people. In fact, that's one of the big things that happens on our Discord. A lot of people will come into our Discord, one, to learn about our nation, and two, to promote or to talk about their nation. And so they'll run into these other people who have been developing their nations for a while. And those people will, I've seen it probably 10 to 20 times in our general chat, where somebody will say, hey, how do people make a micro wiki? And someone just pops it and says, don't worry, I'll make it for you. Probably because they went through the same thing. Either one, having somebody make theirs at some point and then learning how to do it later on, or two, having to figure it out on their own and realizing how much of a pain it is. And so they're just happy to do it for other people for free. That's a huge thing. Same thing with people's websites. There are plenty of website template sites for free. Our website that we use right now is a Wix site that uses a free template. Of course, we have this god-awfully long URL that people, now that we're a 5-year-old micronation, now that we've developed and made a little bit of income, although nothing consistently, people really hit us up and say, why don't you just invest in getting the domain name? Why don't you just go ahead and purchase that and move on? I feel like there are other things that are better uses of our time and efforts than to purchase the domain name at the moment. But that being the case, you still have plenty of options to set stuff up completely for free. And that's what we're attempting to do. That's what we did to begin with, and that's what I recommend that you all do if you have absolutely no money and you're just trying to get into this and develop something. We use Wix. Again, as this isn't a plug for Wix, we don't have any connection to Wix other than that we use it. But they're good. I've heard people say WordPress is good. I've heard people say Google Sites is all right. If you can learn a skill, no matter what the skill is, web development in HTML or whatever, so on and so forth, you can get a lot more advanced out of something for free than you could by not knowing that. So for example, when I was in, I think like middle school, I learned, junior high, I learned a little bit of HTML coding, not enough to build a full website, but enough to just edit web pages. And so I was able to just start Googling things, not remembering any of that HTML, but just having it click once I started to Google a few questions that I had. I set up our Wix template, and then I was just like, how do you make buttons? And how do you edit this? And how do you do that on a Wix site? And it started to, give me answers. And then I just copy and paste code or slightly modify code. Bless you, Tim.
Thank you.
In order to get what I wanted. So now our Wix site has gone from something that was really, really cut and copy and pasted of a free template that they gave us to now it is pretty much indistinguishable from any of the templates on the Wix website. And so we've really been able to kind of make it our own and to kind of develop something that we're really proud of just over time by working with the resources we have for free, asking people in the community and getting their feedback. That happens the same thing with flags, names of nations, connections to social media, all sorts of stuff that you can get 100% for free to start developing your nation and to start building a larger audience with what you want to do. Ultimately, the more people you can get attached to and associated with, the more people are going to be able to support you and help you with their developed skills. And the more that people see that your nation is more developed and more grown more sophisticated, the more that they're going to go ahead and try to fill in their friends on what you're doing, and also try to reach out to you for help on their things. And so finding free hacks on the internet and just in life to be able to build our nations and develop them more seriously 100% for free is something that helps everybody. It's something that if you get to pass on that little bit of knowledge, if you get to develop that and say, hey, this is how I did it, follow in my footsteps, trial and error, we can build a stronger community, and we can build one that is more prone to helping each other and to making a more positive influence on the world. Because some nations have really, really cool goals. You know, plenty of micronations develop because of some feeling that there isn't enough going on in a particular area. Plenty of micronations develop based on environmentalism. Aeternia has some environmental stances as well, and tries to push for green energy, tries to push for being as close to carbon neutral or carbon negative as possible, trying to develop things in a green and environmentally friendly way. And of course, our technology is a big part of that. But that all being the case, there are free methods to start things out with your micronation. You don't have to have some really amazing skills. You don't have to have a background and all this stuff. You don't have to have been a micronationalist for years and years and years to get help doing these things. You can start day one and just reach out to people, and there's so much that the community is absolutely willing to help you out with just to get you to that next step that you need to be at. This community is one of the most wonderful and supportive groups that I've ever found for specific instances. Of course, there are people who are toxic in the community. Of course, there are difficulties that everybody has navigating the communities and finding the right people to go to for help. But once you find those people, they are true saints. They're wonderful. So that being the case, moving forward, going from these little individual things, which are pretty easy to find for free for people to help you with, things like your flag, things like your micro wiki page, your website, all of those things. Of course, you can probably find people on the internet who will help you for free, and we've just talked about kind of how to go about that. But now with those larger projects, like, hey, I'm trying to set up a solar panel installation. Hey, I'm trying to develop this and that type of business, and I need this and that type of equipment. I need these and that groups of people to help me out. A lot of the time, your local community will surprise you. Again, that takes a larger leap of faith. That takes, going kind of out of your shell a little bit to start working on asking people, hey, this is what I do, this is, what I'm interested in developing and moving forward. But it doesn't necessarily have to. A lot of the time, depending on what your project is, depending on what you're wanting to do in a specific instance, like for example, the solar stuff that we're doing, like for example, working with different crafts or hobbies, people, if they know you're interested in something, especially if it's something that they already do, are more than happy to help you, so long as you don't start out the gate saying something like, I'm here to start a competing business against yours. And if you're young enough and you say that, that may be, they may get a kick out of that as well and still help you. But especially for younger people, people are more than willing to help a lot of the time. Getting equipment from people can be a little bit harder, but depending on what it is and depending on the situation, people will a lot of the time still be willing to help you out, let you borrow equipment, let you, use it for a specific purpose or something like that. And you can find a lot of good support and a lot of good information from your local community. This is cheesy, and this is something that I think a lot of people say, but local libraries are really cool. You wouldn't think about it, and you wouldn't necessarily think, oh, how do micronations get benefited by a local library? Local libraries a lot of the time have cool stuff. I have been surprised by looking up and learning about some local libraries, for example, that have what they call maker spaces, where they'll have like 3D printers and poster making machines and stuff like that you would have to pay a small amount of money to use. But a lot of the time people will teach you how to use them at that local library, which is a very valuable skill, and they'll do that for free. And then you may have to pay a little bit of money to try and get the resources to do that. However, again, if you're young enough and you're somebody who is really interested and passionate in that, you may even be able to get those fees waived, or may be able to find somebody generous enough to help you pay for that. So those are, a parent, a guardian, even somebody at that local library. And so those are like plenty of direct ways that you can go through just looking up in your area how to grow things that can actually start to develop for you and maybe even make you money. With a 3D printer, for example, you can make things and sell them online. With your posters, you can start to advertise and start to grow the group of people that you're working with and really spread awareness for whatever it is you're trying to do. I say all these things and I'm describing all of this because I just remember starting out in micronationalism and feeling like, okay, I'm talking to these people online, I'm trying to do this and that. I got a few things, I've got, a couple casts out there, a couple little strings I'm trying here and there, but I can't really get any good grasp on how to move beyond this because I feel like I have to pay money for everything. And that can be super depressing when you don't have any money. That can be something that really, really becomes a drain on a person and makes them lose interest in this wonderful community because they're not able to consistently stick with it and grow and develop and build something because this momentum is getting lost. That other thing is something that I would really, really push for, is to tell you, do not give up on that. If you have a dream, if you have a reason that you sold yourself on becoming a micronationalist, becoming your very first citizen, you probably have a great reason to move forward. You probably are somebody who really, really cares about what they're doing, and I would recommend that you not give up. I would recommend that you try to find ways to continue moving forward, especially if any of your doubts or any of your worries ever come from this community or come from people online, because a lot of the time people can be jealous or petty. A lot of the time people can try to go out of their way to hurt people's feelings, or maybe they just don't understand what you're doing and they have their own way of thinking about stuff. I have seen plenty of young micronationalists get into issues where they will try their best to go after something and pitch, for example, on the Reddit, micronational subreddit. They'll say, hey, I really, really had this great idea for this and that nation, and there will be like 10 comments that are like, this sucks, that looks stupid, I don't know why you would do that, you're wrong about this, and this is garbage. You don't know if that's somebody's first day on the Reddit. You don't know what that person's doing. You don't know their age. This can be a really, really difficult way to enter the community and to start learning about things. So first off, I would recommend, if you are somebody who would think about writing that comment, maybe rephrase it. Maybe don't post the comment at all if you, until you learn a little bit more about what they're trying to do. Maybe talk to them, reach out to them and say, hey, these are some of the things I've been thinking about. I'd like to learn a little bit more about what you're trying to do. And that can be hard. So just remember your first time developing a nation and trying to get into this community, and make sure to think about whether or not you're doing any kind of gatekeeping or any type of restriction of who shouldn't be a micronationalist. I have talked about that before on the channel, not so much who should or shouldn't be a micronationalist, but people who do that and kind of pointing out some difficulties in that ideology, because we all start from the ground most of the time, and I think that's a perfectly fine place to grow from. As well, we have 9 viewers, 4 likes. Thank you guys for liking the video. If you do like the video, again, it helps to spread it out, grow our community, and grow this stream so that we can get some people in the comments. Maybe I'm just missing it, but I don't believe we have any comments yet. If you want to jump in the comments and let us know what's up, please do. Also, too, whenever you get a chance, could you check to see if it's just in my thing, is it working or whatever? Because a lot of the time, if we have like 9 viewers, we get some comments, but maybe you guys are just shy tonight. That's all good. I don't want to be leaving anybody out. There's some people who like do consistently hit up our chat, and I would feel bad if I'm missing your guys' comments. So my apologies if I am. And thank you guys for liking. I see we went up a little bit. So that being the case, I just really want to hammer in on this idea that there's plenty of stuff that you can do for free. There are plenty of people in your life, I'm sure, that have some good skills and resources that can help you out to move forward. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight, is the other thing. You have to give yourself some things for free. Some of those things that you can give yourself right now for free are time. Schedule out a specific amount of time, if you can, to develop your nation and to say, even if I'm getting no support, even if I'm online getting 0 views or 0 attention or whatever, that I am going to be trying to commit to developing this in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to be spending this amount of time doing something toward my nation. That's going to help you out a lot. So that way, you don't feel like you're stressed or overwhelmed trying to do too many things. You can feel like, hey, I committed this time to myself to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on it. And I'm going to see what kind of results that gets me. Vincent said, AP, there's comments on the stream. I don't think you can see them. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Vincent. Vincent actually is one of our newest citizens. He just dropped into the Discord chat to let me know that I'm not seeing the comments. So I apologize, but I am glad to see everybody jumping in. Let me see. Ooh, there's a whole bunch of people. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I appreciate that. I knew there were some comments. Okay, Jacob H says, hello Jacob H, it's good to see you. Jacob H says, imagine having money. I agree with that, it's tough. Also, we have 11 viewers now. Thank you guys for viewing, and again, if you can, please like. I'm getting to the comments finally, so maybe that's why more people are jumping in. They're like, hey, he's gonna answer our stuff. Retro says, imagine spending $135 at the military surplus store. Vincent, you're the only one doing that though. Well, not the only one doing it, but you're somebody who's killing it. Hey, Vincent, how are you? Fake name says Ave, and then says, don't get a Bibulus award? What's that? Hit me up. Is this a new award in the micronational community I'm not aware of? Grand Duchess von Elfberg of Ruritania is the one and only Miss Micro World, and I made a joke at one point that I was going to try and steal the title from her, that I was going to become Miss Micro World, but she would not let me. There's specific reasons for it. She is the one and only ever Miss Micro World, but if there were another similar competition, I would compete for the glory. Prakal says hello. Hey, Prakal, it's good to see you. As always, a big favorite of yours. I appreciate you hanging out in the stream. Fake name says it is low. Prakal says, is it just me or is the video quality low? It's probably low. We're in a workshop right now, so I'm sure let me check if I'm on Wi-Fi. Yeah, I am. My thing is on 4G right now. Normally I have 5G, so it's not as good as it could be. But I appreciate you guys. We have 12 viewers right now. That's insane for this channel. Thank you guys. It means a lot. And again, please like the video. It would help a ton to spread it out even further and to get other people to talk about how you can make money and develop as a micronation for free. That's what we've been doing for, again, the last 5 years. It's been a struggle the whole way, but I've learned a ton about this. Real Novice is interesting thumbnail. I appreciate it. I don't know how well it turned out, but I tried to do the pockets turned out thing where it's like, oh no, I don't have any money. That was the attempt, so I hope it worked out and you guys kind of got it. Maybe I'll have to edit it and do something a little bit better. Fake name says, Retro says no money. Fake name says, hey AP, how should one create power in a low light environment? Power in a low light environment. So if you're talking about electrical power, you need some source for that electrical power, of course. So, you either need a wall outlet that comes from the city, you need a generator, you need solar panels, hydropower, whatever it is that would be a source of electrical energy generation. Even thermal power can work. Once you have something like that, you can then get into sources for that. So LEDs, tungsten filament light bulbs. You would need something that actually emits light. I know that sounds simple, but it depends. Vincent said wind turbines. Absolutely. So you're talking that, okay, that makes more sense. You're asking how you can generate electrical power in a place where you would not get a lot of light. Hydropower would work, or wind turbines would work if you have access to wind and water. Those work fantastically. If you don't have access to a ton of wind or water, if you are in a place that is really cold, you can use thermal power. So for example, if you have even a relatively small temperature gradient, you can create electrical power with that via some, oh goodness, there are specific thermal plates that generate electricity or can generate thermal energy via, electrical energy. I forgot what the specific name of the plates are, but I would recommend you Google it. I can look it up at some point as well and send that to you. But yes, thermal energy, wind energy, water. Retro says, Tiffany's family is the biggest investors in Eternia. These guys are the #1 supporters. I appreciate it. You say that. David currently is our #1 supporter. Tiffany's family 100% has supported us in like incredible ways, but it also is something that's like, I think interesting because it's something that, hey, bro. It's something that they've been helping us just as pretty much Tiff being a part of their family and me being, connected and wanting to be closer to Tiff. So I think that's more on a personal level, which I'm super grateful for. But I think our biggest Eternian supporters, somebody who specifically knows that it's, a lot of their efforts are going toward Eternia, and something that, let me grab this. Something that is big in giving us monetary support has been David. David actually gave us, I think, like on a flat drop, like $500. That was something that was incredible. We had to put a lot of that toward our land purchase. In fact, all of that toward our land purchase. But that was something that was big. Same thing with Stephen, of course, our master of treasure. Stephen has given us a little bit of money, a couple $100, just over the years, which we've been able to invest in our land purchase. The same thing with oh goodness, Richard Taylor. You can go check out our aristocrat board. People who have our currency have invested a lot of money in Eternia. And those people I do want to shout out because they did it specifically for Eternia and for us to get our land purchase. Republic of Olaf says greetings. Greetings, Olaf. Elijah Wood says hello, AP. Hey, Elijah. Good to see you. Retro says hello. Washingtonia says potato. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Retro says hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time stream. I appreciate it. Fake Name says, I noticed AP generally spends 10 to 15 to 25 minutes on the main topic of the stream, then he spends the rest of the time doing stream interaction. I try to go back and forth, but I definitely understand. Would you guys prefer me to do longer in the stream as main topic? Because I do like to try and talk to everybody in the comments. I think people really like that. But if you guys would prefer me to just hit up topic, I can go hard into topic. I just don't want to miss anybody or leave people out who are in the stream. Retro says, yes, it's so we can talk about the stream's topic and not to get carried away by our comments. That's true. I feel like a lot of people who join the streams later on and watch them after the fact will feel like the stream, diverts away from the topic very quickly, and then they'll divert away from the stream. So if you don't give those people a good amount of content coming into it, they may get bored and stop watching, just like they would an edited video that got off topic instantly. Fake Name says, I presumed as much. Yeah, absolutely. Retro says, how much do you think is the minimum amount of funding it would take to start off in a micronation, including all the starting? $0. That's what I'm trying to say. Zero. This flat number right here, $0. You should not, we didn't need anything to start Eternia, and you should not need anything to start. You can have money to start, and of course that's beneficial, but unless you have just a lot of money that you're willing to consistently throw into that, eventually your money is going to run out. And unless you have found good enough ways to invest that to start something rolling that will provide you consistent income, micronationalism can be a huge money sink for people. So I would recommend working on as much as you can, even if you do have the money to get started and to buy things right out of the gate, trying to do as much as you can for free because it'll teach you a lot about the method you'll need when your money no longer reaches the heights it needs to keep you going on to the next step. You'll have to start becoming creative at that point, and at that point you may be well into large projects that you can't afford to mess up. So Reptile says, hey AP, I just saw your stream was up and I wanted to say after I found your channel I started to take micronation seriously, and now my country is going into our first department trying to make antennas. Hey, congratulations. Vincent said antennas for communication. Reptile says, well, yeah, sort of. Vincent said, what do you plan on doing with them? Reptile says, I'm going into crypto mining. Good luck, and be careful with that. I know that can be, one, very energy consuming and potentially dangerous for the planet, so I wouldn't personally recommend it. But also, in this case, helium coin. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend going into that, but, everybody's different. You can do that. And I would also recommend being careful because you can mine a whole bunch of a coin and then all of a sudden its value tank, and you have, even if you didn't have to purchase the coin directly in order to develop the coin, you still had to use a lot of money and resources in your time and your energy, even electrical power, which you would have to pay for, somebody would, in order to actually make that valuable. And so if your currency tanks on you, then you'll run out of all that money that you invested and would be in a bit of trouble, especially having all that equipment that you now have to try and get rid of or use for something else. Um, uh, Vincent said, good luck. Nabak says, hello, Emperor AP. Hello, Nabak. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Reptile says, there's about 100 miners that I could reach within a 9 decibel DBI. I want to say that's decibel, but I feel like that's wrong. DBI antenna. Vincent says, is that industry in your nation or currency? Reptile says, best thing about these miners, they use about $2 to $10 of electricity per month. Very nice, but still, I don't know, that depending on how much you're making on it could be not worth it. Um, Reptile says, helium is mined all around the world. Vincent said, real helium. Reptile says 900,000 different miners in the world. Insane. 900,000. Reptile says, no, the helium coin. Retro says, so what's the end goal in mining cryptocurrency? And Cusnaria says, I was gone for a minute. What did I miss? Now they're talking about cryptocurrency in the chat. Retro says, how many people are in your nation and what would you produce in your nation to sell to others? Reptile says, making enough money to keep my economy and also save up for stuff like college. Then Reptile said, about 20 people in the area to control, in control of my nation, in control of my nation. I want to produce plants to sell to the people in my hometown. Retro says, you have 20 citizens? That's a lot. Absolutely. Raspberry T-Man says, hi. Hey, Raspberry, how are you? Mr. Bob says, hi. Hey, Mr. Bob. Fake Name says, hi. Mr. Bob says, I have 13 citizens. Is that average? Citizen counts aren't really a great way to determine the strength of a micronation or the developmental progress of a micronation. And I want to talk about that at some point too, but a different video. Retro says, Amir, did the trash can move slightly to the left? You'll never know. You'll never find out. Raspberry says, so is he talking about not to discriminate against micronations? I was it a while back. I definitely understand. Mr. Bob said yes. Fake Name says, Retro, do you have the ability to email AP? Retro says, I can DM him on Discord. Scenario says, hello. Raspberry T-Man says, oh, that would be a crime in my micronation. Says, hi. Mr. Bob says, what should I do to set up my nation more? What stage of development are you on? What are your goals? Let us know. Raspberry says, what do you have? Vincent says, you're welcome. Fake Name says, thanks. Reptile says, sorry, back. Raspberry says, hello. Hello, Raspberry. It's good to see you again. Reptile says, yes, by citizens, I mean there are 20 people that live within the borders of my country. Ooh, but that's interesting. Are those people actually citizens and are they happily contributing to your nation? Or are they people that you just consider citizens because they reach inside of this geographic location that you claim? If you knocked on their door and said, hey, are you a citizen of Reptile Keeper's Nation, would they be like, oh yeah, absolutely. Raspberry says that means if they are just visiting, they are citizens. Reptile says, I've done this by talking to many of my friends and allowing me to control their property. Basically what they do is make their own micronation, they get tired of it, and then give it to me. How much does that allow you benefit though? Reptile says, no, if you're just passing, you're not counted as a citizen. Mr. Bob says, oh. Raspberry says, oh, okay. Reptile says, there are 20 people that have houses that are located within the borders of my country. Still curious about this. Fake Name says, a Bibulus Award is a Romabu Award for a bad or useless politicians. It's named after Consul Bibulus. Oh, interesting. I didn't know about this. Y'all are teaching me about other countries. Cool. Reptile says, sorry for the confusion. All good. Raspberry says, that's how I do it too. I call them districts, and the districts can make a state. Oh, interesting. Elijah says, random question. If Thor fought Superman, who do you think would win? Superman. Raspberry T-Man says Thor. Reptile says cool. Mr. Bob says Thor. Superman. I'm going Superman all the way. Washingtonia says, I have a good idea. Every time water goes down a drain, a toilet gets flushed, some wheels in the pipe can make energy. Absolutely. 100% you can do that. Raspberry says the amount to clean the wheels would be a hefty price. Agreed, depending on how you did it though, like
Drain
not
clear,
necessarily.
clear.
That, and also you don't have to put it in the pipe of the pipe of the toilet that, you know, fecal matter is going through. You can put it in the top drainage part of the toilet that pulls in and out clean water, so that you really would have to not do a ton with that. Um, um, Raspberry says also, Reptile says, Raspberry, you also control other micronations if the owner if the owner oops, I meant to say abandons it. Yeah, that seems like exactly when he gets control of the nation. Fake Names is actually, I like the 25-minute topic and rest Q&A. Oh, hey, very cool. Fake Name says, pardon my spelling. Raspberry says, no, they just take a naturalization test and their, quote, home of residence is a district. For now, it's only my friends and people I know personally. I can respect that. Reptile says, okay, cool. Asteria says, Great Asteria is looking into a state visit to Molossia. Very cool. I always see their Instagram posts where they're like, these are our latest state visitors, and they like take a picture and they say, thanks for coming to Molossia. That's definitely cool. Reptile says, I give my friends special access, like if they give me their nation, all of them fish in my pond with big fish. Hey, very cool. So you give them like perks for it. Raspberry says, interesting. Elijah says, AP, what's your thought on precious metals as a currency for a micronation? That's silly, and I'll tell you why in a minute. It's not that the precious metals are silly, but I think you can make more money and develop more efficiently if you actually sold the metals versus using them as the currency itself. I'll get on that in just a moment. Raspberry says, helium isn't really mined, is it? Or is it considered a natural gas? Helium is mined, but natural gases are also mined. Like they are, oil, for example, petroleum, natural gas, literally what they call natural gas. Butane, for example, is a natural gas, but that is mined. Natural gases are mined. So yes, helium is mined. The Kingdom of Great Asteria says, how are things with your land, AP? Also, how does one build an ally with Aeternia? That is a great question. We actually have an alliance application that you can hit up. If you go to our website, which is wix.com, eternianempire.wix.com/imperial market. Long name, I know. If you just Google the Empire of Aeternia, it should be one of the first links to come up. It is our website. It's on Wix. If you click on it, you should be able to pretty quickly go to the Alliances tab, go down that page to our Alliance application, where you can fill out an application, and we will get to it as soon as we can to discuss with you about an alliance. Specifically, alliances in Aeternia deal with economics. So if there isn't some way, whether creating content for our channel or through some sort of mutual trade agreement that we could develop, some kind of mutually beneficial economic pact, then we probably wouldn't accept your application. But regardless of your circumstances, definitely always feel free to apply, because we're happy to talk to people about it and discuss what we can do. There's almost never a no to those alliance applications, but there's just we have to keep developing and talking about this until the point that we could get to a yes. Let's see. Raspberry says, I thought that Superman said it would definitely be Superman. Spider-Man said it would definitely be Superman.
I thought that said Spider-Man.
Raspberry says, I thought that said Spider-Man. Thank you, Tim. It would definitely be Superman. Agreed. Seagot says, howdy, Seagots. Are you a cowboy? Manu says, Molassia's 45th anniversary was yesterday. Congrats, Molossia. Happy birthday. We're 5. Molossia is 45. They got 40 years on us, but hopefully we can catch on up to them. Reptile says, AP, the miners cost $430, and they can make around $500 to $6,000 per month for very little electricity. That's very cool. Congrats on that. I would say, again, it seems like that depends on the coin's value, so let's hope it increases for you. But also, that is a pretty steep investment. I think that would be unreasonable for a lot of micronations to invest in. That would be fairly unreasonable for us to invest in even. But congratulations. I'm excited that you're moving forward with something. Although, be careful with the environment, because again, that is something to take into account. Thing Name says, Casnaria has a precious metal standard. Yeah, see, I don't like that. And I will jump into that in just 1 second once we can get to the rest of these real quick. Manu says Star Wars 45th anniversary was the day before Molassia's. Ironic, that's cool. Reptile says, Raspberry, I'm talking about helium cryptocurrency. Yep, we got that. Retro says, AP, so do you think I would be better at doing Q&A streams than main topic streams, given how I did a stream when I did one? I would say streams should always have main topics. The Q&A part is always going to be inevitably a part of a stream, but you shouldn't really do streams that are just, it's Q&A, because the algorithm really doesn't like that. It won't really advertise it to very many people. So even if you have a good number of people in the stream at the moment, once the stream ends, YouTube will stop advertising it for people. So if you make there a good topic, what I would recommend is, instead of just wanting to do a stream, which yes, you should absolutely just do as many streams as you can, it would help us out personally. I would say, before you want to do a stream, take a day or two to think of a topic, talk about a topic, research the topic, come up with, maybe 10 or 15 points that you would want to talk about in a video, like you would with an edited video, but instead of editing it, just talk about it on stream and say, this is why I think this is this, and this is what you should know about it, and this is why I think this is this, and this is what I think you should know about it, and this is how these three things tie into this new point, which I'm about to bring up to you now. Fake Name says, gosh damn, I just looked at my last comment and my spelling is horrible. All good, Cusnaria, we believe in you. Also, thank you guys for 10 viewers. Yeah, but their nation's name is Cusnaria. We believe in you, Cusnaria. Also, thank you guys for the likes. I see there's 8 likes, 10 viewers. If one of you guys isn't liking, I see right through your camera, and I want you to know, we still appreciate you anyway, but if you did like it, would help the stream. Okay, Raspberry says, I know, but I was talking about the gas as it was mentioned. It was mentioned. Land, Esnaria says, we own 54 acres of land and we're building a gate that welcomes people. That's cool. 54 acres is a huge amount of land, so congratulations on that. I wish you well with your 54 acres. Esnaria says, people. Vincent said, where do you live that you can get 54 acres? Reptile says, yes, 100% is a lot of money for my country. Reptile says, going to be about $400 in national debt after this. But still very cool. If you have, parents or guardians or somebody who's supporting you and happy to invest in that, congratulations. Raspberry says 54. Reptile says, wait, 54? I just saw that. Raspberry says, the only place that I know you can buy that much is the Midwest or Europe. Europe actually is fairly densely populated, so sometimes buying land in Europe can be quite expensive. Depending on what the country is, it can be cheaper or more expensive, and what the rate of their currency exchange is. But still, the Midwest is probably cheaper than most places in Europe. Something I was going to bring up, talking about currency, talking about the value of currencies. I'll get on that real quick, but we should talk about that in another video. I want to make a whole nother video talking about this topic, and I think it's a really good one to cover. But real quick, super important, hold on to your seats, hold on to your pants. We're getting into it. Talking about fiat currencies versus standardized currencies. Now, when I say standardized currencies, I mean something that has a weight to it, something like gold, silver, something that is pegged to some value. Fiat currencies are a lot better for micronations in particular because they don't require anything to start, and most of the time the reason somebody's going to support your currency, regardless of what it is pegged to, is because they support you. So if you say, oh, the reason you should trust my currency is because it's pegged to silver or gold or diamonds or this cryptocurrency or whatever, is because it is not going to get you too much clout, simply because it's still only going to be the people that trust and support what you're doing who are going to want to invest in that in the first place. If they were really trying to keep their money in something super secure, then they, like if you're saying that this precious metal is, then they wouldn't invest in your currency. They would just invest in that metal directly. However, metals, just like everything else in the world, have values that fluctuate. Even though you would say that that is such an important standard and that's so wonderful to have. For example, right now, the U.S. is edging toward a recession. It's something that's very difficult for people. For example, gas prices are shooting up. The price of everything is shooting up. So you would say, oh, well, the price of silver is shooting up as well. The price of gold is shooting up as well. That makes our currency very valuable, right? Maybe, but people aren't buying a ton of silver right now. People aren't buying a ton of gold right now. So the issue is that the way that economics works, from my understanding at least, if people are unable to get rid of their reserves of gold and silver, and people are really, really holding back on buying things like gold and silver because they don't have enough available funding and free money to spend to be able to start buying things that are considered luxury items like gold and silver, which aren't necessities most of the time in the world, unless you're talking about things like manufacturing for computer chips and stuff like that. You're dealing with a situation where people are going to be buying a lot less gold and silver and precious metals on average. So all of a sudden, when the economy starts to go back up, you see this quick inverse trend where these companies and these groups want to try and get rid of their excess gold and silver. So they have to start lowering the price to compete with each other and also to try and bring back some demand for their products. So these things fluctuate up and down. And even though you would say, well, our thing is pegged to gold or silver, which is at this value, it's really that value plus or minus a certain percentage of it, because you're going to know that constantly that value is fluctuating. Those fluctuations may stabilize out a little bit, but nonetheless it's going to be fluctuating. Just like anything else, just like any other currency you peg it to, just like anything that you want to. So what I recommend is that you peg it to another nation's currency. Most nations around the world, in one way, either directly or indirectly, have their nation's currency pegged to the US dollar. That is something that is a gold standard across the world. People have their money pegged to the US dollar because it's really easy. You can use the US dollar in almost any country. Not to say that the US dollar is the most stable thing or that it's the best thing in the world, but it is something that a lot of countries use routinely to peg their currency against. Even though it's something that fluctuates, you can still say that without much complication, without needing much difficulty, and while having something that everybody at any point is probably going to use because of how heavily standardized it is, pegging your money to the US dollar is always going to be equivalent, if not better, to pegging it to any gold, silver, whatever. And then you say, oh, okay, well, what if the US dollar crashes? Then you have gold and silver, which again, people are going to not be hoarding in a time where economies and world governments are collapsing. That's not going to be what's needed. That value of that thing is going to plummet because again, people aren't going to be thinking, well, I need to stock up on gold and silver because that's a really stable thing that everybody needs in a collapsing society. They're going to be tying on to things like natural gas. They're going to be tying on to things like food, things like equipment, which they're going to need. So again, I don't really see a huge benefit in supporting a currency system that is based on some kind of standard to that effect. Again, on top of that, the thing that you're going to be wanting in exchange for your currency more than likely is some other currency, your nation's currency, the macronation that you connect to's currency, either the US dollar or the British pound or yen, whatever it is, the Mexican peso, Canadian dollars, whatever it is that your macronation that you're going to be doing most of your business through is going to require as their primary means of transaction. You are going to want that in exchange for your currency, right? Like if you have a currency that is backed by gold and silver, you're not going to be telling everybody, in order to use our currency or to get some of our currency, you're going to have to bring us gold and silver, which you can do, but a lot of people aren't going to buy gold and silver to get your currency. They're probably just going to want to pay you currency for it to support your nation. These are all going to be more than likely fans of yours already. So knowing that you have that limited pool of people, knowing that you have this really niche thing that your currency is tied to, you could ask for that. You could ask for people to give you some sort of thing, or that you're going to purchase this amount of gold or silver or whatever for your nation's currency. But now you've used that resource. You have taken this this economic power that you've been given through this money, this value, and you have invested it in this commodity. That commodity, if its value goes up and you sell it, sure, you've made some profit, and that's wonderful. If it goes down, you have to hold on to it and wait because you have all of this value tied up in this flexible thing. But if you connect it to whatever your nation's currency is, One, it makes it easier for people to trade back and forth, and that's something that they're going to want to do anyway. It's convenient. And also, your nation's currency is going to fluctuate with that currency anyway. So you immediately have the liquid thing that you would need, even if you invested in some type of gold standard or silver standard or whatever, because ultimately, in order to get the value out of that currency, which you're going to need to trade things and purchase things, you're going to have to sell that. You're going to have to give it to somebody in exchange for goods and resources, so you're giving up that commodity anyway. It just makes so much sense because you're dealing with such a small pool of people and such limited gains that you could possibly make and potential losses that you could lose, to just do it in another nation's currency that's going to work in effectively the same way without needing any connection to this weird third-party middleman value sink. It's silly in my opinion. There's no reason that Micronation should be doing it. It's not something that's beneficial. It's not something that in the long term is going to give that much difference in success or failure of a Micronation. Let's see. No more comments. She's playing bubble game. So I'm trying to see. For some reason, I can't see any of the messages, which is causing problems. Would you mind if I read chat in just a second? She's playing bubble game, so I got to figure that out. But that's my big issue. That's my big concern with fiat currencies versus standardized currencies. There are plenty of people who swear by, okay, these countries need to go by gold, silver, whatever standards. I feel like it's a gimmick. Why has every country on Earth, or just about every country on Earth, gotten away from creating gold or silver or backed standards of currency? Because it's not necessary in the modern world. Because we know that the thing that is the convenience for people to purchase commodities through is the faith and support of a particular government or institution. So there's no need for the weird middleman. People are a lot of the time, even in recessions and depressions and so on, especially in our digitally tied world, not running to banks to pull their currency out for a hunk of metal because they think that that hunk of metal is going to get them more than the currency. Even in times of difficulty economically, it's not going to, especially now that we have the digital age, because you can't send a rock through a computer. We have these digital webs of infrastructure that allow us to be able to move monetary values very, very easily and seamlessly through the institutions that we already have set up. So sure, that ties you to a Micronation, but so is everything else that you're going to do to develop in a modern infrastructure. Raspberry said, I did find a place of 1,000 acres for about $5,000 US. That's incredible. Congratulations. Is it relatively nearby you? Reptile says, AP, the last 4 days we've had about 4 feet of rain. That's a lot of rain. Wow. How has your nation been dealing with that? And has it affected much of your plans? Vincent said, that's almost unheard of because land isn't getting made anymore. Agreed. Reptile says, I had to announce a state of emergency in my country. Be careful. That's concerning. Asteria says, the land is forest land and there is a beautiful view of a river. That's awesome. Raspberry says, is it in the U.S.? Asteria says, yes. Hey, very cool. Reptile says, that sounds like great land to have a Micronation on. Raspberry says, may I ask the region? Vincent says, you're lucky, man. You couldn't get a lot of land, at least where I live. All these development companies are buying it all up to build more and more houses and subdivisions. Soon enough, there will be no land. Agreed. Raspberry says, that's how the Southeast is. Yep. Reptile says, man, I live 2 miles away from the Tennessee River controlled by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Very cool. We live not too far away from it as well, and it sounds like we're pretty close to each other. Raspberry says, where I am. Asteria says, North America. Reptile says, I live in Alabama, BTW. Hey, so do we. That's ironic. Congratulations. It sounds like we're very close to each other. Raspberry says, why the TVA? Vincent says, what, you live in the same state as AP and the same local area probably. Reptile says TVA stands for Tennessee Valley Authority. Yep, absolutely. Vincent says that's cool. Fake name says pegging to USD is like personally piloting a torpedo into a ship. Why though? Again, you saying that is going against what 99% of economists and world governments have been doing for decades. Like, I understand you saying, oh, that's because the US isn't like that great. And I agree the US isn't that great. But it's what has allowed all of, not the US specifically, but pegging these currencies to the US dollar is what has allowed for a lot of the modern economic development that we've seen post World War II. It has just been, goof. You made me drop my fork rind. It is what has seen that development since World War II and has just been a convenient method of doing so, and it's worked very, very well. If you truly want to tap into the value that the world economy is seeing, especially in the digital age, you just about have to do that. Otherwise, you're fighting the huge current of world economics, which you can go ahead and do, but your growth and development into a micronation is going to be heavily stunted by trying to fight against that. Reptile says, yeah, but I think he lives in the southern part of the state. I live in the northern part. No, right now we live in the northern part of the state. We live very close to the Tennessee River. Raspberry says, the Kingdom of Aeternia. No, I live in the Midwest, West Coast, Northeast, Northwest. Oh, everywhere. Great. Vincent says, fake name. Raspberry says, fake name. How about a plane? Seems more realistic. Asteria says, Northeast. Retro says, Northern. I think we're more central. Yeah. Fake name says, a plane you can survive. Interesting. Vincent says, because he's going to be near where I'm living. Raspberry says, sweet, that's awesome, Mysteria. Vincent says, soon, since my parents finally got a house in Georgia, so that's some good news, AP. Absolutely. Congratulations on them finding a house, and I'm excited for their development. I hope they're able to find jobs and set up their new lives very stably. Raspberry says, fake name, yeah, say that to Imperial Japan. Oh, goodness. Reptile says, only got 1.5 acres, but hey, I've got a pond and nice creek, so I guess that's not bad. Not at all. That's wonderful. You have lots of resources available on your land, it sounds like. Vincent said, yeah, that's good. Reptile says, I was raising largemouth bass, but a drought that was recently broken by a rainstorm killed all my fish. Oh, I'm sorry. Largemouth bass are awesome. I love fishing largemouth bass. Raspberry says, you got a creek. I have nothing but man-made hills. Can you guess my state? Reptile says, well, it's a wet weather creek. It only runs whenever there's rain, wherever my pond overflows. Big name will be finished up to a couple months or a year. Hey, congratulations, Asteria. That's awesome. We're still working toward it, so good luck. Reptile says, it's too bad I had some 3 and 4 pounders in that pond. Absolutely. Vincent said, Florida, the only hills are landfills. Oh, goodness. Raspberry says, southeast state that has lots of developments, barely any natural lakes, and mostly fake hills. Raspberry said, retro bingo. Vincent says, I've lived here since I was 11. Oh, wow. Raspberry said, I went to California recently and got to see real hills for the first time in over 7 years. Hey, congratulations. Also, 9 viewers, 8 likes. Thank you guys for liking the stream. Raspberry says, I used to live in Washington, and boy, do I miss that. Absolutely. Vincent said, Tennessee and Georgia are very pretty. I'd agree. If you want to see mountains. Yeah, absolutely. Big Name says, monetary values don't mean anything when the money is ultra common. Makes sense. Raspberry says, AP, for the is the land close question, it's in the same state, but as Florida has hurricane seasons, the land probably floods a ton. That makes sense. Also, 10 viewers, 8 likes. Thank you guys for hitting us up and checking us out. Fake name says, unless by linking money to a metal you force yourself not to print a million billion currency, just don't do that. Only print the amount of currency. If you tie your currency to a macronational currency, you do the same thing. You can always print a million billion currency, even if you tie it to a rock. That's just you doing something irresponsible. If you tie your currency to a macronational currency like the US dollar, and you say, excuse me,
you're gonna drop it again.
I know, I want to swing it for effect. I would appreciate it. If you tie your currency to a US dollar and you say, I'm not going to make any currency until someone purchases some of that currency, then you will never have an issue with inflation based on overprinting of money. Simply because you cannot increase your supply of money unless you increase your income for that money and the value that's being created for it. If you do that, if you decide, oh, I'm going to print more money, you are creating inflation in your nation, and you're trying to create credit for yourself, which is a very responsible thing for a micronation to do, given that you don't have much funding to deal with in the first place. So very irresponsible.
What's up, YouTube?
What's up? It's Jason. Jason's here. Raspberry says I've run out of resources. Raspberry says, or a whole gold value sinking over again.
Hey, it's fake name on here.
He sure is.
What's up, fake name?
Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Fake news says governments tend to be run by idiots worldwide, and generally economies are disconnected from the real world due to increasing elitism. I feel like that's heavily opinionated, and also they're still effective. You know, the world still increases economically in value every year. Raspberry says, and there are micronations. They are smart. That's weird to say that, oh, world economists are idiots, but micronations are so much better. I don't know that you can say that with much reasonable degrees of certainty. Reptile says, AP, have you by chance heard of Wheeler Lake? I haven't, but I'm also not super familiar with this area.
Wheeler Lake?
Maybe, yeah, these two have.
He lives like 30 minutes.
Wait, have you heard of Decatur? Yes, you live super close to us. Decatur is incredibly close to us. Raspberry says, sorry, I like dark humor. All good. Elijah Wood said, what if the currency is a precious metal, so it wouldn't be backed by a precious metal? It would be a precious metal, and it could be done similar to how you're doing your currency. Again, I think that's silly, because if you have a precious metal that you're making into your currency, and then you're giving it to people, you're storing value in a thing, and then giving the value to someone else. Again, they can trade back to that value through you. They can trade that value back to you. But one, again, in order to do that, you have to have a money transmitter's license. And two, if you're doing that, you're still in this weird situation where you're relinquishing the thing that supposedly is supposed to be storing the value, so it just makes it more expensive for you to create the currency. You're doing the same thing that a fiat currency could do with little slips of paper, but instead of doing that, you're doing it with a precious metal, which is more expensive. It sounds like you just want to do it for fun, which is perfectly okay. You make something that's pretty and cool for you, but in order for you to do that, you need to severely increase the value of the currency. You need to charge people more money for it so that it makes economic sense for you to produce it. Most reasons that people use, for example, paper now all around the world, and eventually digital currencies that work online, is because the cost of producing a bit on a computer or a piece of paper for $1 is incredibly cheap, and if that thing gets destroyed, nobody has really lost very much value in the interaction. But if you have pieces of gold that you're swapping back and forth, and someone loses the piece of gold, they've lost an incredible amount of value.
Dude, I've never heard that explained that way. I like it.
Appreciate it.
When Reptile said he lived like 2 miles from the Tennessee River, I was like, I bet it has
Super
to be
close.
Decatur.
Yeah, when he was saying Tennessee
Well, because
Valley
Huntsville
Authority.
was like further. You have to go like a lot further to hit the exit.
Yep.
But anyway.
Raspberry says, well, what if it was quartz and the amount is based on weight of it? Boom, everyone is a millionaire. Again, and then if someone loses it, they're losing a ton of money.
Literally.
Literally. Vincent said, fake name to avoid that, put only a certain amount in circulation and never print anymore unless it's to rotate the money you currently have. So I'd say start off with 100,000 as a start. That's a huge amount, but yeah, I do agree. Raspberry says, hi, Jason.
Hello, Raspberry.
Elijah says, hello, Jason.
Hello, Elijah.
Fake name says, I love it when Jason's here. Hey, fake name's hitting you up.
Yo, fake name is my bro.
Vincent
Hey,
says,
just
oh,
don't
it's
know.
Jason. Hi, dude. Yeah, you
What's
have fans.
up?
You got fans.
And I also got my mudslider, which is about empty.
Very nice. Reptile says, excited ooga booga. Interesting.
Booga booga.
Reptile says, AP, it's crazy around here. Where I live, land costs like $20,000 per acre. Absolutely. That's
Shit.
how it is here.
Yeah, totally. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good.
Go ahead.
Hit it up, hit it up.
No, I'm not. Go ahead. Just chill.
Yes, 100%. It's expensive. Esther, did you have something to say on the topic, though? Because we're about to just keep reading the next comment.
No, man. I was just
Really?
gonna say that's super
Great
fucked that properties went up so much because back, we'll just say 6 years ago, you can get an acre for like $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, an acre is probably, we'll just say 10 grand.
Mm.
How about that? Does
Agreed.
that sound a little bit more logical?
I would
Yeah.
say so.
Either way, land has went up stupid high.
Absolutely.
That's all I was gonna say.
I completely agree. Asteria says we have submitted an alliance proposal. Hey, thank you, Asteria. That means a lot.
What's an alliance appraisal?
To be alliances with Eternia.
Yep.
Their countries to be aligned.
Why ain't you head of Aeternia?
Yes. So they submitted
Maybe
a
an
proposal
alliance.
to us so that we can learn about their nation and
Like
decide
how-
whether or not we want to create an alliance with them.
Like
So
how
does
you
this-
have the, what's it called? The America, Britain, there's a name for it.
NATO?
No! The name of the people who like group together, like the Axis powers. Or
Oh,
like
in
the,
World War
the,
II specifically, they
Allies.
called themselves the Allies.
Yeah.
Allies, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
But-
what you're
so
doing
why
here,
would
too.
you want to already do an allied thing before anything comes about?
So a lot of the time people associate alliances with military alliances. We're not associating it with a military
Right,
alliance.
yeah.
We're associating it with trade. So we're saying, hey, what do you have
Okay, so
in
this
common
guy
with
is
me?
willing to trade with you basically just cause.
And we're saying, yeah, what's your nation do that would make us want to work together?
I mean, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like
and
it.
then the alliance would be us officially announcing together, hey, we're working together, we're friends, basically.
Gotcha.
Raspberry Tea Man says, I'm being silly in some of these comments. The thing is, tone isn't put through letters as
Silly
much as words
goose.
and sounds. I agree, Raspberry. You're all good. We're here to have fun. Rich says, yeah, usually if a government uses raw materials to back currency, it's something way more expensive than gold, like uranium or platinum, where they invest in companies and use that value to back it. Companies seem more reasonable than a material, because you can't really you can lose a company, but it's a lot harder. It doesn't just disappear. Fake Meme says, if it's any consolation, the metal standard is based on how the metals can be industrially applied. I'm still curious about it. Raspberry says uranium. Fake Meme says no, copper, tin. Interesting.
Wait,
Those are,
what about uranium?
they're talking about backing your currency based on uranium instead of like gold or silver.
So nobody's got uranium?
No, not
I'm not interested.
Raspberry says that is a radioactive. What are they playing at? Agreed. Vincent said Fallout, Alabama. Oh god.
Whoa, hold up now.
Fake Name says, oh, crawl out to the Fallout, baby. Oh goodness, when they dropped that bomb, horrible. Raspberry said die from the heat. Absolutely. Both from the Alabama heat and the nuclear heat.
It's not the heat, it's the humidity.
Absolutely. The nuclear humidity. Rich says they store it in radioactively
Could
sealed
you imagine
containers.
just sweating fucking
Green,
uranium and shit?
Yeah.
Like just ball it up, make a bomb out of it.
Of course, like the Simpsons. Fake Name says thought the reign of strontium 19 through the reign of strontium 19. Oh goodness. Asteria says the Republic of Butthurt Babies declare war. You know it. You know it. That's a meme from one of our old videos. Raspberry says it went off like the last two. Oh goodness. Reptile says, okay, not trying to give away my location, but have you heard of Trinity, Alabama? So you are just giving away your location.
Yeah.
Yes, you're close to it.
No, I mean he might be, you got northeast, south, and west of Trinity.
Rich says, I get you. Rich says, I personally want to use copper to back my currency and maybe invest with USD into companies. Very cool. Congratulations. Retro says, major swamp ass in the post-apocalypse Alabama. Oh,
Yes, swamp ass is major, and guess what? Towel for swamp ass.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Raspberry says, tell a Floridian about it. Rich says, oof. Raspberry says, the Alabama alligators is going to be even stronger.
Wait till you meet Florida.
North Alabama. Yeah, I was like North Alabama alligators. You got your geography on there.
Florida, fuck you up.
Yep.
They
Southern.
The
Hey.
cocaine.
Oh, thank you. Reptile says, XP, I can't believe we are so close to each other. Absolutely, we really are.
Y'all ought to mate.
For real. One day, if you decide to, we can for sure set up for you to come visit our land and stuff. And that's it. But yeah, the thing that we were talking about originally on this stream, which I kind of want to get back to a little bit, I was talking about how micronations can do stuff for free. A lot of the time people think like once I do a certain amount, I pretty much just have to like start spending money, or they're like, how much do I need to spend to like start a micronation? I really have tried to spend like as close to $0 as possible.
Of course.
Yeah, I've chosen to spend some money, but it's very little and very far between. Like unless I think it's gonna make money back, I'm generally not investing money in it.
So, well, a part of the money making process, you got your old smelter thing, correct?
Yes,
Alright,
sir.
so you need metal for that.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
The whole crossdot, or not the crossdot, the spikes.
Railroad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. See, and this is another thing I'm talking about. This is a perfect example.
Yeah.
A lot of time when you talk to people about like what you're doing, people are willing to help, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And, well, I know I repeated this so many fucking times before. I am in no association with you. I just show up from time to time. But yeah, I mean, you got a smelter, you want to do something with it, and I got the material, so why the fuck not?
Absolutely.
It's free for me, it's free for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I might have to charge you a mudslide or two.
I understand.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's fairly even exchange. I can respect that.
I mean, fuck.
Absolutely. And so that's another thing as well. Trade. Again, you can do a lot with trade. Trade becomes difficult because if you're doing it on a large scale, of course you have to deal with taxes. In U.S. law, even direct trade of goods, is taxable. The value of that trade should have some tax associated, and should be something that you account for on your taxes. If you're doing enough and enough volume to constitute paying taxes. So that's something in particular that's necessary to discuss. And again, trying to develop your nation, trying to do so for free as much money as possible. Bless you. Bless you, Jason.
Thank you.
That is difficult to do. It's time consuming. It's a lot of effort. But at the end of the day, it's going to help you a lot, especially because a lot of the time, if you're not making a certain amount of money per year, you really don't have to pay taxes. You file your taxes regardless, and you try to do what you can, but there's a specific value amount, and I forget the value amount off the top of my head, but if you don't make more than that within a year, you really don't file taxes. It's not worth it for the state to go over your stuff effectively to try and make you pay such a small amount in taxes for you to do that. And so, especially me having not worked most of the time over my schooling and the little bit that I have worked part-time here and there, it really hasn't ever been enough for me, even including the work in the businesses that Aeternia has, to do taxes. So every time I try and file my taxes, they're like, hey, you just didn't make enough. You can file your taxes, but you're not going to have to pay anything. So
Man, what was the strain actually about?
how to develop a micronation for no money. How to make a micronation for no money.
How to grow something out of nothing.
Yes.
I got you. Alright, cool.
And that doesn't literally mean you don't do anything. It's
Yeah,
not
I mean,
that you have
I
to
get what
pay
you're saying,
anything. Yeah, absolutely. And so a lot of that stuff people already have figured out. People will get people online to create their flags and their website and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to spend a little bit of money. I get that, but it's literally as little as possible.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I was going to say. A lot of the time, the people doing small stuff like that, things that people can do online, pretty much will do for free because they're just willing to help people out.
Oh.
It's just whenever people get into larger scale stuff that a lot of the time they're like, now I really need to start putting money into it. And you certainly can. That's a way to go about it. But even with the solar panel stuff we've been doing, we just have been getting that equipment and just putting it together because it's not useful to the people that we get it from. So.
I'm trying to think if I can come up with some more batteries. As if you fucking need any more.
Yeah, I would appreciate it. Well, it's always the thing where, the one that you gave us, I actually still haven't hooked it up. I believe I tested it on the battery charger that we have, and it's low enough that it won't charge it, but I can hook it up to the solar panel that we have outside and have it charge up to the voltage that it would require to run it on that charger. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was dead on a doorknob.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was gone.
Well, and that's the thing. Gone for one of those batteries where you just replace it is like
Yeah.
11 volts. So it still
Oh, yeah,
has
because
like,
you need at
energy.
least 12 volts to start any fucking thing.
Right, right. And 12 volts, like low 12, would be when you would want to recharge it.
Yeah.
But once it drops to below 11, you're like pretty much your battery's dead. Although if you have the right thing, you can just charge it back. It has a lower like life expectancy though every
Yeah.
time you.
See, I needed you a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because back in the day I had a pickup that had a massive system in it.
Mhm.
I had 2 batteries running to it, but I had troubles keeping one of them charged because as soon as I start thumping, drain instantly. And now charging wise, I was charging about 14 volts, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on what was happening, like if the battery was just like you would get it to 14 volts, and if you measured on it and it said that it was 14 volts, even when you stopped charging it, and then you started to run something on it and it died real quick, it's probably because of I forget the term, but basically like buildup of stuff on the plates inside the battery. So that's what ends up killing the batteries. It's like a natural part of how the battery does its process.
Yeah, see, now that makes sense because, like I said, I did have 2 of them. One was direct from the alternator, the other one was ran off of that battery to the other battery.
Right.
So that would make sense, and it was a dry cell battery,
Absolutely.
like big old massive son of a bitch.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, that probably was wrong. I probably would have been better off just running my system off of one battery, but one battery wasn't enough juice.
Yeah, makes sense. I would say I'm not super familiar with dry cells. I would have to look into if you can or how you can fix dry cells. I know for these they're not dry cells. They have battery acid in them. So if you run into an issue where there are like that buildup on the plates, sometimes what'll help make them last a little longer is you suck all the old battery acid out and you add new battery acid, which is what we did to one of those.
Yeah.
And it pretty much brought it back to life. It's not going to last another 10 years, but it may last another few months to a year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll just help it prolong it that much longer. And like depending on what the battery is, if you bought it from like Walmart or AutoZone or whatever, a lot of times they'll take it back and they'll give you a discount on the new battery.
Well, this was, like I said, years ago. And man, I was drunk when I put the system in. I don't.
Makes sense. Well, if you ever have an issue like that, I'm happy to help.
Okay, I got an issue like that. Help me.
Right now?
Yeah. There's an electrical issue and I don't know where the hell it's at.
Okay. Yeah. In your truck?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm happy to take a look at it.
Yeah. That could be another video.
Yeah. Electrical operations.
Yeah, electrical operations. That'd be legit.
Very cool. Also, thank you guys for the likes. I appreciate it. 9 viewers, 10 likes. After an hour and a half streaming, that seems pretty good.
Those are rookie numbers when they put thumbs up. Because
Right.
it's only 11 o'clock and it's a Friday night. Let's go.
We gotta get 30 viewers in the stream right now. My one issue is, for some reason, my stream has been weird. So, like, people are responding in the chat, but my stream is showing there's nobody doing stuff in the chat.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah, she's like looking
Oh,
up
wow, that's
the
weird.
stream and having to check it.
Well, hey, fake news.
Fake news.
Fake name. What the
Fake
fuck
news.
ever, man.
Oh
I
goodness.
said, hey.
Very cool. I'm sure they've been hitting you up with questions since we've been talking.
They ain't been hitting me up with questions. They've been hitting you up with questions, not me.
Well, you never know. They might have been directing at Jason because every once in a while I'll check the stream and they'll be like, next time you see Jason, tell him the thing. People like the cornhole idea.
Which one?
You were like, it'd be cool to have cornhole as a like game for Micronations because you could do it by yourself and then live stream yourself.
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah. I actually like that idea too myself. Like, you can literally do that with anything. Like, I mean, well, except for,
like basketball or something.
yeah, basketball or, fuck, what's the name of the game we were just playing?
Table tennis?
Yeah, table tennis.
Ping pong. Yeah.
Ping pong! Yes, couldn't stop myself from trying to say beer pong. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you couldn't do that. But yeah, the fucking cornhole idea would be pretty sweet because I mean it's simple. I mean you have to literally live stream the whole entire thing to make sure somebody ain't cheating. Of course, you know, like stepping across your lines and everything. You have to actually measure it out is what I would do. Like measure it out, both people, like you and. We're just
Like
gonna do fake news. Fake name. We're just gonna use him for example. Y'all have to measure it out, stake it out, literally show that on video. Like this is where it's at, and then y'all can just totally do that together.
Okay.
I mean, I like that idea.
Absolutely. And you can even do that with beer pong. Because it's something that's
Oh yeah,
like a
you
way.
could do that with beer pong.
Yep.
Yes, you totally could, but I'm not too sure how many of your viewers actually drink.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
You can do
still,
it
I mean,
with
yeah, you could do it in general. Like you don't have to drink. You can do water. You can do Sprite. You can do Mountain Dew. Whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You can totally do that.
Absolutely. You can do it with the cinnamon challenge. And have
No, you already said something about the cinnamon
Don't do
stick
that.
earlier. Yes,
Don't do that.
I'm curious and too curious to where I actually want to go find a cinnamon stick so I can't bite into it.
Oh goodness, it'd be terrible. I feel like as soon as you did it, you'd regret it because it like crumble in your mouth.
Can we do that on a live thing?
We can. That's horrible. We're gonna throw up.
No,
Like,
not for
that's-
you. Not for you.
Okay.
This is for me.
Okay.
How many viewers we got?
We got 7 viewers.
7 viewers. All right. So if we get at least 5 likes in the comments, I will bite into a cinnamon stick.
That's absolutely horrible. Oh goodness. Okay.
Yes, I will totally do that. I don't know where the hell to get a cinnamon stick at.
There's plenty. We can go to
AP will have to get one.
We can hook it up. Big Meme says I back my currency with copper and that stuff, but there is an exchange rate for USD. Very
Ooh, copper. So you're the one that's stealing everybody's AC shit.
Mommy says, I remember when I declared war on the Federation of Butthurt Babies as a joke. I remember that too. Very cool.
Can you explain the butthurt babies?
Yeah, so there's a video we did a long time ago called Why War is Stupid. And we talk about it. Essentially, it's a skit video, one of the first ones that I did on the channel. And it was straight up me going like,
He
me
broke
getting,
his
like,
mug in it.
I did. I straight up broke my mug in it, yeah. I got in like different outfits, and I like sat behind a desk, and I was making fun of Micronations who like go online and declare war on each other. So I was like, we the Federation of Butthurt Babies declare war because na 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 na, and then I like jumped to another one, and I was like, I forget the other one's name, but it was something similar to that. Like, oh, we declare war because whatever, yeah. And it was a meme. It's become like a thing that people reference.
That was pretty cool though.
Yeah, I'm hyped about it. Every once in a while, somebody will jump in and be like, that's where I came from. That's the video that got me started. So I appreciate you guys. Good looks. Retro says, I think I'd be more worried about the people high on angel dust in Polk County going wild. They're scarier than the alligators. Goodness.
Yes.
The meth people. Oh, goodness.
No. Angel dust is
Like PCP or whatever.
cocaine.
Fake name says 1 Imperia for 5 USD. Hey, very cool. Raspberry T-Man says, I declare war on the emu. Shall the great emu war be our victory and their loss?
Didn't Australia do that and
that's
lost?
That's what they're memeing about.
So this is why guns are a thing, because Australia is like anti-gun and they lost to some fucking overgrown chickens.
Raspberry says, Retro, never been, don't want to. Asteria says, can I talk in the next Twitter Spaces? You sure can. You just have to jump in and join us. Richard says, I'm into VC, let's go. Hey, very cool. Voice chat. Raspberry says, some people in Florida would cut a finger off for insurance money. Yes, 100%. You good, Jason?
I'm good, man.
Cool. Rich says, BTW, is it okay that I listen to music sometimes in there? Yeah, absolutely. If we're like doing a stream, I would ask you not to, just so that it's not like a copyright issue. But yeah, I don't mind. Raspberry says, question mark, where? I have a motto for Florida, if the roads don't kill you, the people will. That makes sense. And I feel like Alabama's similar. Reptile says, good motto. Raspberry says, what would God do? What? Canadian Republic says the Canadian Republic has a budget of $4.44. But you're starting somewhere, and that's what's important. If you're like, I'm going to invest that in my nation, that's really cool. I'm proud of you. Reptile says, my motto for Alabama is that the mosquitoes don't get you, the snakes and fish will. Makes sense.
Not if you got a 44 mag.
Well, I was like, the fish? I don't know about the fish, but snakes maybe.
No, fish. I mean, you're talking about an alligator gar, you're talking about catfish, big as a damn Volkswagen Beetle.
Very true. Rich says, I have a budget of about 300 readily available, but I've chosen not much until I have a steady income. You get me. I do get you. And I feel like that's a difference between like having a treasury, like a savings, a total savings amount versus a budget. A budget is money that you've earmarked to spend in a year. So a budget would be like for example, if someone had a food budget, that would be how much they're going to spend. They know they're going to spend on food every certain period of time. Reptiles said, good thinking, Richard. Raspberry says, if you see it, you run. We'll give them a challenge. Reptile says, good thinking, Rich. Cajun Republic says, well, that's not all my money. That's just my Cajun Republic dedicated cash. Reptile said, I myself am going into $400 in national debt. We believe in you, Reptile. Good luck with your thing. Raspberry says, last one, California is don't question that stench. Oh, goodness. Y'all muted on California.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Rich says, that makes sense. Budgeting is important for your micronation, Kate. Vincent says, if the Scorch or Ferals don't get you, the Rads will. Every NPC in Fallout 76. Oh, goodness, with these Fallout movies. Raspberry says, Fallout is super unrealistic. It's a video game. What are you talking about? Big Meme says, I found out today that my ally, the Dictatorial Republic of Veronesian, was in a conflict with the Democratic People's Republic of Mosin, which I have a good relationship with their leader, Matthew DeVilla. We talked about this last time. They're like, nations will become friends with other nations, and then those two nations will start fighting. That sounds like exactly what's happening. Good luck. That sounds weird.
Airsoft battle. If y'all are close by, airsoft it out.
Oh goodness, fake name appreciates you shouting out his thing.
Dude, I will shout you out all day, every day, because for some reason you done become a buddy. I think he's the same one with the T thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole reason why we buddies.
Yeah. Raspberry says they didn't add the IRS hunting the characters down. Oh goodness. In a post-apocalyptic, whatever. Raspberry said, well, that's the dilemma. Fake Meme said, luckily they made peace today, which is how I found out. Oh, congrats, I guess.
Holy shit. Wait, hold up.
So you found out they were beefing when they told you they weren't beefing anymore?
Yeah, that's super fucked, man. Your nation should know what's up all the time.
I would imagine so. Raspberry said, oh, had us in the first half, not gonna lie. Reptile said, step one, wait for the IRS to come to you. Step two, shoot the IRS. Step three, infinite money. Not a good plan. I don't recommend that plan. Cajun Republic
We
says,
don't recommend shooting anybody, government officials, wink.
no wink wink. No wink wink. Cajun Republic says, well, it's only 9 p.m. on the west. So, and Caden says, who is this guy? This is Jason. Jason's a friend.
Cadence. I'm a surprise visitor.
Yes, special guest. No.
Yeah, special.
Oh no. Raspberry says rookie numbers, flashbacks to a certain Floridian YouTuber. I believe in you. Rich says, good morning, Eastern Seaboard. Hey, good morning, Rich. Big News says, one day I hope to visit Aeternia. Perhaps Jason would be there. I would personally sponsor tourism to Vitae if that were to happen. Yeah, that would mean a lot. We would try
Fake
to hook you guys
name.
up.
News name. What the fuck your name is? Yes, if you show up to Aeternia, I promise you I will be there.
Bet. Set it up. Reptile says I might.
Definitely.
Reptile says I might walk over to the Empire of Aeternia at night if I feel like it. The Empire of Aeternia. What?
Hey, fake name.
Oh, Aeternia. Oh, very cool.
If you do decide to do this whole little meet and greet, you better bring some of that damn tea.
Let me see. Vincent said, bro, if Jason came to Vitae, I'd do a cartwheel around the property. Well, it sounds like that's hella reasonable. One, because you're going to be probably coming to Vitae at some point. It sounds like not too long. It sounds like Jason would do meetups at some point. So yeah, that sounds like you're going to be doing cartwheels, I guess, one day.
What's Vitae?
Vitae is the name of the territory that we just bought, the little land that we bought. We named it.
So okay, so the name of the place is Vitea, but you're Aeternia.
So we're Aeternia. Vitae is a Latin word that means life.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. So now that I know that, what was the comment? Explain that to me now.
So Vincent.
Oh, if I join them?
No.
If you came and visited the land.
Vincent, who's a
Oh,
guy
yeah,
who's
yeah.
a citizen, is moving from Florida to Georgia, and he's going to be close enough that he wants to drive and come visit our land purchase, Vitae.
Yeah.
And so he's like, if Jason was there, I'd do a cartwheel around the whole thing.
How much is the whole thing?
3.5 acres.
You
And it's-
better start working out there, buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds like you're gonna be doing some cartwheels.
Yeah, you better start. I'll do some meet and greets. You better bring some shiner box.
Very nice, very nice. We're gonna charge admission to see
Yeah,
Jason. We're
it's
gonna-
1 6-pack per person, except for fake news. Fake name. They gotta bring tea.
It makes sense. Rich says, man, this tech. Raspberry says, you can cartwheel? Rich says, hello. Not everybody can. I appreciate your ambition. Reptile says, I could walk to them, though. You should. You hit us up.
Okay,
It's a
well,
30-minute
needs a
drive.
chest,
That's
bitch.
true.
Start walking. I'll do a meet and greet.
That's true. Don't actually walk, but
Yeah,
we would love to
I
see.
mean, you got Ubers, you got car, you can taxi, you can take a Greyhound bus for all I give a shit. I'll do a meet and greet though.
Yeah, we should do it. Fake name says the Union of Trolls, I think. The something of like internet trolls was the other nation, like the fake nation thing that I did in the video.
So here's my thing about trolls. I'm guessing you're talking about like legit trolls, like
No, it's internet trolls. Like
Like people who
People
just
who-
go and jump in things just to be butt faces.
yeah,
Like
that's what I'm talking about. Like actually trolls. Like I've already made it clear that I'm not part of your thing, but I don't like trolls, man. Like trolls are stupid as fuck.
yeah.
Yeah, even the ones that live underneath the bridge.
Yeah, like
Even
fuck them guys. Like church stop them. Fuck their mothers. What are you gonna do?
Just drive your car over there.
Yeah, I mean
On the bridge, you collapse the bridge.
2022, we're sucking dick and eating ass.
Oh my god. Reptile says, AP, what's your email? I will send you pictures of my pond through email right now. AeterniaEmpire@gmail.com.
Say it slower.
AeterniaEmpire@gmail.com. Reptile says, I think it was the United Allies of Internet Trolls. I think you're right. Raspberry says, state of emergency is Dinopolis. Apparently the emus and kangaroos are allies. Oh, goodness.
You guys are
They're
ass
fighting
kicked.
back. Yeah, they're
So
fighting.
I'm guessing that guy's in Australia, or is he just like fucking off?
I have no idea. I think he's goofing, but I don't know. Fake name says, I'm working on measurement for my flag, so I don't have to eyeball it every time I want a screenshot. Good luck.
Yep.
Raz says, God's made a comment and it redacted, though I thought they said retracted. I thought they said something wrong. They probably did it themselves, because normally we don't remove comments, but I'm curious as to what it was. Let's see. Fake name says, I will one day personally make the alcoholic tea for Jason. Fake name. Yeah. Vincent said, when Jason made the joke about not shooting the IRS, we both laughed at the same time. Very nice.
Hey, that's a joke, Wing.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Raspberry says, oh no, I was talking about Gray still plays when he said rookie numbers. It's because he said that before committing genocide in video games. Oh, goodness.
Holy
Horrible.
fuck.
These are deep memes.
I like some dark humor though.
Absolutely. Reptile says, I just got that raspberry facepalm. Fake name says, Rich says, if I ever get down to Florida, maybe I can go. Sure. Yeah, we are far away from Florida though. Like we're in Alabama, in North Alabama, so Tennessee or Georgia would be closer than Florida for sure.
Actually, depending on where you're at, Mississippi would also be closer
Agreed.
to Florida.
Mississippi, yes, 100% would be closer.
I tell you what, throw a dart in North Alabama. Just throw a dart. And if you can drive there within, say 3 hours,
Yeah.
you're close enough.
Yeah. Raspberry says, or before trapping a million Sims in a pool. That sounds like near genocide. Yeah. Retro says, the Jason theme park in Aeternia. Absolutely. It's just a line straight to a chair with Jason sitting in.
Yeah, but you have to be super fucking drunk before you get to that chair, which is why I'm in that chair right now. That's not a good ride. Nobody should do that.
Raspberry says, Rich, no one is allowed to visit if you meet me. Sorry, it's at my house, so privacy is a concern. Oh, gotcha. Fake Name says, Union of Trolls versus the Federation of Butthurt Babies round 2. We gotta have the round 2. We'll hit it up.
The Butthurt Babies just gets me. Like, I love the Butthurt Babies. Like, I actually like that a lot.
I appreciate
Like,
it.
the Butthurt Babies is...
Yeah, we did another video at some point that we were talking about like how you become a citizen of Aeternia, and we made like another like sketch style video just to show like, oh, you go on the website and you click this stuff, and we had one of the like characters from it be like kind of just like a little like wink to the previous video of him being the one that was doing it.
Dude, if you want to do a round 2 of that, I could totally pull off a Butthurt.
Yeah, we gotta hook it up. We get Jason joined the Butthurt Babies.
Yeah, like your shit's weird. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't know. I can just do some shit.
I would love it. I would love it.
Like, we might set that up.
Get these memes going. Raspberry says Jason isn't an Eternia. Jason,
no, I am not.
If you haven't seen our, I think 3 or 4 live streams ago, we did a stream called Explaining Micronations to Normies, where we were just talking to somebody.
I'm normie.
Jason, who hasn't heard about micronations at least before that point, and we started explaining it to him.
Yeah, and I was drunk and repeatedly said that I'm not a part of this.
Yep.
I'm just here.
Yep. We're all learning.
Yeah. And we actually had some really good discussions that night. So actually, how many streams, 2 streams ago?
Yeah.
Because we did one, what, Tuesday,
on
Monday?
our channel, it's probably been 4 or 5 streams ago, but yes, as far as like streams we've been in together, we've done 3. This is our 3rd one together.
Okay, so what was the name of it again? The title? Explaining Micronations to Normies. Yes, you actually have to look that one up, because me and him actually had a whole lot of really good discussions, not arguments, because obviously if it was an argument, I would not be here.
Absolutely.
It was really good discussion. I felt pretty cool about that one. Like, that was some good shit.
Mm-hmm. And we hit like multiple different topics, so depending on what you're
And
interested
if somebody stumbles upon this and they'll see, hopefully, that video, they're like, okay, let's just check this out, because they're a normie already.
Yeah.
So let's just look into that.
Mm-hmm. And that's the hope. Trying to explain.
Yeah, I'm helping without helping.
Yes, sir. Lana says the micronational community is mainly on the internet, therefore a lot of trolls. Exactly. Fake Name says, I think I just found the ideal name for tea. The Jason. Dun, dun, dun.
Huh?
He was going to name the alcoholic tea the Jason. Like that'd be the name of the tea. That'd be cool. If you do it, you got to put on the bottle like his face. That's got to be the logo.
No, just do like pistols or rifles or something.
Pistols or rifles or something that make the shape of his face. Fake Name says screw the IRS, but yes, don't shoot people. Raspberry says clarification. I'm in Florida, but I think the emu war was funny and needs a part 2. Makes sense. You can do it, Raz. Hey, everybody's here. Not everybody's here. Nope, y'all are here now.
Yeah,
nope,
come
it's
on,
too
man.
late. It's too. You're roped into this. Okay, you want to come onto the panel.
How high are you and how
There are
much are you?
people. There are more people here.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you're having your birthday party tomorrow, right?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay,
same as the
then.
Memorial Day party.
So it's
Hey, some of your when your streamers is coming.
They're not actually.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not being able to make it.
Oh,
They probably got work or something.
Memorial Day
Saturday.
party is tomorrow as well, but yours starts at 2, but this says it starts at 2 too.
Yeah.
So
That's
we're
what
having at the
like
same
over
time.
in Birmingham.
Wait, so I'm so confused.
What are you confused about, Brian?
Oh,
We're
I'm
having
so
2
confused.
parties at the same time
Yes.
for 2 different things.
Yes.
yes. Okay,
But
so
whenever I
what
was
is
on the
their
phone with
confusion?
you, I asked if Kent could come and you said wait until Memorial Day.
No, I
So I
said
thought
he
he
can go
was-
to the Memorial Day party. He can go to that half of the thing we're doing. I'm excluding him. I'm being.
As in your new boy toy is going to be part of my half.
Oh, so
How about that? What's
you
up?
know, you
You
made
hold
me
his
think it was
hand
on a
when he gets
different
here.
day, for real.
He's
Like,
like,
I
I'm
was,
just picking on you, Brian.
I was like, I don't think they know.
No,
And then
Megan's
it's
not
like,
here.
do they know?
She's not here to tell me
They
not
do,
to.
bro.
I
Yeah.
was picking on you. You're good. He could. Yeah, he could come.
Dude,
Because I thought y'all were
about having it at separate times, but then I realized it was at 2, and I was like, oh, they're probably on it at the same time.
Same time, same place.
How the
But that's
fuck
so
do I have
different.
more understanding of something in a house that y'all live in?
Yep. Oh, okay. What time is it?
Because I don't get told nothing and I'm hardly here.
Hey,
I'm
everybody.
actually gone. This
Real
is
quick,
the
I'm gonna
stuff.
run through super speed around these comments, and then we gotta go because I told Tiffany we would get off at 11, and I didn't. So we gotta
We still got
go.
lots of preparation.
We do. I'm having spoiler alert. I'm having my birthday party tomorrow. It's not the actual day of my birthday, but having the party tomorrow, celebration. I'm gonna post stuff on Instagram if you guys want to check that out. I'm excited.
I'll be there.
Jason will be
I'll
there.
be there.
Retro said, Jason, what are your opinions on the Alphabet Boys ATM?
Yeah.
We talked about that at another
Okay.
point, but we gotta speed around because I told
Why?
Tiffany I'd get up because I told Tiffany I'd get off at 11. Now it's 11:20.
Oh, dude, come on now.
Yeah, I know. but
Why don't you
I
come
gotta-
on my phone?
Answer the question.
Let me finish
Dude, come on
answering.
now. Let's do this. We got. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So read it again. Who was it?
ATF.
Okay. ATF and who?
He said the Alphabet Boys, aka the ATF. I'm talking
What are
about
my
ATF.
thoughts on that?
Yes.
Okay, so my thoughts on ATF, for one, it should be a store. ATF should be a store. You should be able to buy alcohol, tobacco, and firearms from the same fucking place. That is my thoughts on it. Secrets don't make friends.
They make babies.
Whoa. Whoa.
Sure, he has one.
Okay.
Alright, so anyway. Oh man, why we gotta get off?
You spent the phone talking to your girlie the whole night.
That's
Yeah.
Your sister.
Sure.
So why we gotta get off?
You was the one that was talking.
Because we gotta
He
find
has to
stuff
get
to
up
do.
like
Oh,
really early to
yeah,
go pick up
yeah,
people
to go
and
pick up a
things.
cake and do
Dude, that sucks, because I still gotta have a drink.
Yeah.
What? 8?
Because I have to be.
Because they set the time for pickup at 9.
Yeah, I have to pick
Well-
up.
And it's an hour away.
Alright, I guess we speed rounding it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion on ATF. It should be a store. It should not be a government agency.
What?
Raz says California is messed up. My bed schedule feels like 9:16 p.m. for me yesterday, and I must have missed that part of the stream. Since it's currently yesterday for California. Good luck. Have fun in California. I'm sorry I messed up your sleep schedule.
Fuck California.
Got him. Reptile Keeper says, okay, AP just sent the pictures. Thank you. Then said, wait, what? It says email invalid. Eternianempire@gmail.com. Look on our website. Our email is on there as well. It also should be in the About Us page of the YouTube channel.
He said 11.
Yeah, we did say 11. It was 2 hours after 9. Rich says, bro, what's up? What's up? I'm glad you enjoyed the stream stuff. It's really cool. You gotta
Was
get
you
it.
hoping to leave at 9?
Huh?
Was you hoping to
Raz
leave
says,
at 9?
we don't talk about rifles, you might get canceled.
No.
Got him. Fake name says, I hate communism, but I have a really good relationship with the leader of a communist micronation. That is the glory of
It's like
respect.
communism.
Disagree. You can do what you want. Communism's okay. Elijah
No,
Wood-
it's not.
Elijah Wood says, the reason I want to use precious metals is because where I live, gold, silver, copper, platinum, nickel, and a couple others. Very cool. They're not taxed and don't require a license to sell, so I can have a full currency. Hey, congratulations. You still, in the U.S., currencies still require money transmitter's license, so federally you would get in trouble if you don't do that, but through the state you may not be taxed. You still have to get a money
His dad
transmitter's
was
license
gonna get
if you're doing
he was
large
gonna
enough
be
business.
leader, but now he's very set on going to get it himself.
Dude, I don't want this stream to end.
Big names as
Are you
AR-15 is a
keep it
yes.
going tomorrow morning?
No, I'm just trying to keep it going for a couple more hours because I'm having a good old time.
Elijah Wood says, and it wouldn't be that expensive for me because I can get them some for free, mainly copper and nickel, so all I would have to do is make them or try to have someone else do it. Agreed. Raz says, salute to all the soldiers who lost their lives fighting for their nation.
I'm having fun in the
Agreed.
stream, yes.
Is that what y'all
Manu
were
says
talking
they
about?
still know that this is live, right? We do. Raz says the PTSD their friends get is real and it's bad. Sad for their friends and family who lost a loved one. Agreed, Raz?
What, Monty? You don't like
Yeah.
real life
Crazy.
group of people just talking while a camera is just pointed at them?
Yeah, Manu, we have more people here. Isn't that what you wanted, Manu?
We
Well,
knew we
have
were
Monty.
live. We were just talking
Well,
to
Mono's
each other.
He was like, do they know that they're still live?
Yes. We are very aware that we are still breathing oxygen and
Ooh,
we are.
Elijah says happy early/late birthday.
It's
Thank
early.
you so much. Raz says happy B-Day. Thank you so much, Raz. Retro said happy 24th.
Oh,
Thank
he
you so
knows
much.
your
He does.
Damn,
Vincent
hell
really
yeah,
does.
man.
Big Name says happy Imperial birthday, AP. Thank you so much. If you guys follow us on Instagram, I'll post some stuff on Instagram. Also, Ada and I did a TikTok together today. If you want to check that out.
Yes.
Fake name.
Big Name says happy Imperial birthday.
They're having to
Thank you
do a
so much.
speed run because Tiffany is lame.
Kingdom of Asteria says happy birthday Imperial Majesty. Thank you so much. Raspberry says, oh no, I'm back. That's when my sleep schedule's messed up. Sorry for the confusion. You good? Glad to see you.
You can
back.
sleep when you're dead.
Oh goodness. Rich says, I think once my micronation gets big enough, I
This is
run a
my
dual
iPhone.
economy, accepting my currency and USD side by side at the same time or similar value. I respect that. I definitely understand it. However, we've now reached the end of the comments.
Jason, this is why we love you, man. Keep it real, brother. By
Said
Vincent.
Vincent. Yeah.
Who the hell is Vincent?
Vincent, the guy who's going to move from Florida to Georgia and come visit you and do a cartwheel around the property.
Ah, alright.
Yeah. He said, keep it real. That's why
Fake
we
name
love you.
said Jason's real one.
Jason's a real one.
Hell, he's a real one.
Raspberry said, no, I will have death debts. We believe in you, Raz. Everybody, thank you so much for joining the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. From all of us.
Let me give a shout out. It was,
Rick Rapp
it was
said,
fake
"I
name
have to
and who was the other one? The
Vincent.
cartwheel guy. Vincent. Fake name and Vincent. Yeah, whenever y'all decide to come to his fucking thing, I'll be there.
Also, Reptiles, good to see you. And again, if you want to hang out with us since you're close, let us know. It's good to see you.
Yeah,
all.
Reptile, come on.
And I hope you all have a good night. Again, we got 10 viewers, 12 likes. If anybody hasn't liked that wants to like, please do. It helps for watching the stream later. It makes YouTube advertise it more. But again, I appreciate it, guys. Have a good night. Eternia forever.
Bye.
Manu said, according to my math teacher, you gotta break eggs on birthday boy. The amount of eggs equivalent to his age. Your math teacher can come all the way here and do that if she wants. or if she
Inflation's a
wants to
bitch.
fight.
And eggs are expensive. We ain't doing that.
Fake name says Ave Eternia, Ave Jason. Good luck. Goodbye. I look forward to next.
I don't know what Ave means, but what's up?
It's Latin for like hello or bye. Or
Oh, bye.
Raspberry
Ave.
says salute. Have a nice night, sir.
Ave. Avocado.
Manu says I never doubted
Cheerio,
myself.
friend.
We're gonna do it to you, Manu. We're gonna smash a whole bunch of eggs on your head, even if it's not your birthday.
Yeah.
Raspberry says Star Trek. Goodbye. Peace, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. You better say bye, bro.
Bye!
See you guys.